All right, hold on. I'm going to call him right now. Hold on. Hey, it's Peter Boghossian. We're walking there now. We're next to Pavilion Hall. All right, Tushar, thanks. Hey, Tushar, how are you, man? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
How are you? And I hope, I mean, it wasn't like a hard get over here.
No, it was awesome. It was great. It was fun. How long have you been with AHA?
Well, it's been more than a year now. I think I joined last summer, and now, I mean, I was intrigued. But we met at in Texas,
Right,
Austin, right? So I
right,
mean, I was really intrigued by the fact that you were doing the reverse Q&A and like giving the opportunity to people to talk about
right.
like what they really think about.
We have a cool format that we're gonna use that we use in Flagstaff, and I think you'll like it. It depends too how many people come out. Well, thank you for hosting and putting this on, and it's been a long time since we saw each other in Austin.
Yeah, that was amazing. I was really fascinated by like the ideas that you had to give the power to people to talk and then really question what they believe. Why do they believe?
Right.
And like that's real critical thinking.
Yeah, I think so.
You have that I was reading about your article that you invited speakers that you particularly didn't really agree upon.
Correct.
That you were like why do you believe this?
In fact, most of them I disagreed with.
Yeah, that's something that you usually want to surround yourself with people that hey, I agree with you, you're my friend. But like if you can bond with the people that you disagree with and like
Yeah.
really go into the depths of like why you think what you think,
Right.
that's excellent. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why I wanted you to be
Oh,
on
well,
campus.
thank you. Well, that's what we're gonna do tonight.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
What brought you to this event today?
Well, I'm the supervisor for the RAs here, so I'm aware of the event, so that's why I'm here.
Tushar invited me, my RA, resident assistant, invited me over, so I just came.
Well, my friend has been passionately working on this, and it's like he told us that it's an open platform, like where we could ask whatever we wanted. And that's like a concept, that's a structure that's new around here. Most talks aren't structured like that. So we were just curious to know how it would go.
My friend basically invited me over.
I guess my friend invited me, and I really wanted to learn more about what this event was. And just like, I sort of know that this is about voicing your opinions in front of a public, and that's something that I struggle with, sort of. So I guess this event could help me some way.
Okay, great. Well, hopefully, yeah.
One of my friends is hosting this event, and I'm here to support him. And I wanted to learn more about this topic anyway, so here I am.
What are you expecting?
Well, I looked a little bit into Peter before coming to this event. I know that he is interested in philosophy. I know he's interested in the Socratic method, so I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of conversation. So that's kind of like what I'm expecting. I'm looking forward to it.
Honestly, considering it's a reverse Q&A and I haven't really been to something like that, I'm not really sure, honestly.
That's perfectly fair. That's fine. That's an honest answer.
This is a new concept for me. A reverse question and answer is something I haven't done before. So looking forward to learning this new type of conversation.
I guess sometimes when I'm not sure if I'm getting it correctly, but sometimes when I'm in a public setting, I am hesitant to voice my opinions because I am afraid to hurt the feelings of other people. And sometimes I feel that is really taking my voice away from myself. So I'm just expecting, I guess some sort of motivation for me to just be myself and go out there and talk about things that I really care about.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a great answer.
I'm just expecting to learn more about speaking up and like how your opinion like kind of matters in like this day and age, I guess.
What are you hoping for?
I'm hoping for an interesting conversation. I'm hoping to learn something new. Hoping to be introduced to new ideas. See if there's something, even if it's something that I disagree with, I think it'll be interesting to get that idea,
I guess I'm definitely hoping to just learn something from Dr. Peter, but aside from that, nothing much.
I'm hoping for a lot of questions, and I think as the conversation gets going, people will have more curiosity because it's such an open platform. I think once people take the lead and start asking questions, we'll have a guided conversation and go to depths and understand, get a whole new perspective on whatever we talk about.
Just okay, I guess just to like be open and kind of like listen to other people's opinions and kind of take what I can from this event, I guess.
Do you feel free to express your opinion about controversial subjects in the classroom?
Yes, I do. Purdue, where we are right now, values free speech, and I do feel free to express my opinion in the classroom, yeah.
I mean, I'm generally the kind of person who doesn't try to do that, but I guess if you're talking about in terms of whether or not I'll get any kind of negative feedback from it, I think I'll feel totally fine. I'll be okay with actually talking about controversial ideas if I had to or if I wanted to. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm that kind of a person.
In the classroom? Sometimes, not a lot.
Sometimes. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Maybe if I know the concept a little better myself, then I might have some views on it. But if not, I wouldn't express myself if I did not know more about the topic being discussed.
I don't. Like I said, I am more afraid of hurting someone else's feelings. So I just stay very diplomatic and try to moderate the discussion. I don't. Though sometimes I have some controversial opinions, but I don't voice them because I'm afraid that that might just ruin the situation between everyone. So yeah, no.
Not necessarily, no. I guess that's because I'm inherently pretty reserved with my opinions, but there is a space for it. I just don't use it enough, and I think in general I'm more of a listener than a speaker, so I think that's probably why I'm not personally comfortable voicing my opinions, but it's not that there's no space for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your sharing your thoughts, and I appreciate your time. Feel free to take a seat. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, at this familiar juncture, I mean, like, I wanted to give the taste that Peter has to provide. I met Peter at the AHA conference in Texas. Dr. Peter Boghossian is one of the leading philosophers of our time. He has written his book called The How to Have Impossible Conversations, and Professor Richard Dawkins and like a lot of great people have said amazing things about him. I am a AHA critical thinking fellow, Ayan Ali Histories Foundation. That's who I work with, and I wanted to bring Peter in to talk about what his amazing work has been. And without any further ado, please give a big hand to Dr. Peter.
Thanks everybody for coming in, and thank you so much for organizing the event, and to AHA, the Ayan Hirsi Ali. Appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to talk as little as possible. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to see a very brief film. The fellow in back of you there, Travis, raise your hand. He made this film. It's called The Woke Reformation. We're going to see episode 1. Immediately after that, we're going to have a super fun activity. I think you're going to really enjoy it. It's fun. Okay, without further ado, let's rock and roll with the film.
Those who adopted this new vision of the world left behind the scepticism of postmodernism. They were now enlightened, awakened to the truth, filled with certainty about the way all of society, all systems, and all interactions really worked. The woke movement claims to be progressive, but its origins are more than half a century old, and based on faulty and unproven scholarship. Surely we can find a better and more modern basis for understanding the social issues of our day.
Okay, that was Travis Brown's film, The Woke Reformation. But he wants to talk to Travis. He's right behind with the camera. Okay, so this is a fun game. You're gonna like this game. So this is strongly disagree, somewhat disagree, neutral, somewhat agree, and strongly agree. And so everybody's going to start in the middle. And just to be clear, I wouldn't ask you to do something that I wouldn't do. So I am also going to do this with you. So you're going to line up here. I'll face this way. We're going to have maybe 4 people line up there. And then we'll flash a sentence on the board. We'll flash a claim on the board. And then I'll turn around and read the claim. And then you walk to the line. Not in the middle of the line, on the line. Everybody cool? All right. So you good? You're good? 1, 2, 3, 4. How about that? You 4. Whoosh. Okay. And you come right there. Face me. Face me. Face me. Okay. Okay. Good. And spread out all the way, all the line. Okay. And again, I will also be doing this. So, first claim. On average, men are physically stronger than women. So, wait, not yet. When I say agree or disagree, when I say go, you go. 3, 2, 1, go. Wow, I was simply not expecting that. Wow, I was not expecting that. Okay, Eris, come on down. I'm going to ask some questions now. To anyone, why did you stand there? Why did you choose that line?
Why do you agree with that statement?
I think based on personal experiences, I've seen that sometimes the work that I'm not able to do, my male colleagues or my male friends are able to do that more easily. So I guess just through experiences.
Someone else.
I think when if I see the way society is structured, if you go into a gym, for example, and I see the weights that are used, I've never seen a woman go beyond a certain weight, but I've seen men. So I think on average, because of every situation showing the same pattern where men are stronger than women, I have no reason to believe that on average, I'm not talking about exceptions, but on average, yeah, men are stronger than women.
All right.
I was in the military for a long time, and I trained martial arts, and so I've been training physically with both men and women, and I can tell that the amount of effort it takes for me to compete with a very strong woman who would be above average for women is still less effort than it takes for me to compete with an average man.
Right, and to be clear about that, there are women who can tap you out because we talked before you do jiu-jitsu. To be crystal clear about that.
That is correct. I started doing jiu-jitsu because my ex-girlfriend was into it and she could tap me out. But now that I understand it, like I also know that she is very strong for a woman, but she still has a challenge competing against strong and talented men.
Right. All right. Did you want to?
Well, my opinion is based off of anatomy, that like muscle densities and things like that, where men have more dense muscles and they're more developed. As you become teens, you usually get thicker hands, and that's where the male anatomy develops into. So on average, this stay as it stays. Are men physically stronger? There is biological evidence to it. So henceforth.
Okay, so here's my question to everybody now. And just as a heads up, I'll be asking this question each time. So if you want to think ahead of time what the question would be. So everybody, oddly enough, everybody is on the strong, or maybe not oddly enough, I don't know. I wasn't expecting it. Everybody is on the strongly agree. What would it take people to move one step to the agree? Like what evidence or what would you have to know or what would you have to hear to move one line? You don't have to answer if you don't want. Any volunteers?
If I can see muscle data, muscle density data on if women, as I'm basing my entire argument around it, biological evidence that I have seen and I understand is going forward, and if I see that women's muscles are thicker and they go and develop into this to get physical tasks done, I would absolutely
data from
yeah.
what?
Any CDC
science,
or
scientific
some,
evidence.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, it's reasonable. Anybody else? It's okay. Yep.
I would have to see a test really where men and women are competing at the same skill level, at the same thing, starting at the same time. I think they'd probably have to kind of very similar, like DNA and health and things like that. I think one of the challenges with this is that men and women don't really start from the same place, and so they don't really end in the same place.
Okay, that's reasonable. All right, you want to reset? We'll do this same group one more time. You want to reset? All right. Okay. So everybody gets the game, right? This is not a particularly complicated game. Okay. All right, next question. The only remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination. 3, 2, 1, go.
I strongly disagree with this statement because if this is true, then this will just turn into this bad cycle where we are discriminating and then we overcome that discrimination by introducing another discrimination. And it'll just continue forever and ever and ever. And I don't think it'll really ever end. It'll really just complicate things more.
Think in your head, what would it take you to move either to the right or to the left?
The British colonized the Indians. I mean, like, if actively discriminating the British will like bring either joy, happiness, or like, I mean, to all the communities, all the stakeholders involved in it, which I don't think is likely.
Maybe, and then you'd go which way?
I would agree to it if that's how they are discriminating, but I don't see that happening. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else, or we go to the next question? Anybody else? All right, let's hit the next question. Oh, why don't we get a new crop of people? Hey, thank you, everybody, for participating. Appreciate that. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on up. Yay. All right. Clapping for bravery. All right. When deciding between what's true or false, the belief of persons in historically oppressed groups should get special considerations. 3, 2, 1, move. And yes, you may stay on the line if you do not have to move. All right, now this is going to be interesting. All right, so tell us why you thought that. This is great.
Exactly. I think truth is a very complex thing. What's true to some person may not be true to another, but an oppressed group brings a factor of truth that is often...
Anybody else? You don't have to comment if you don't want. Anybody else want to comment on that?
If speaking about facts, no one should be given any special consideration to say if something's true or false.
Correct.
But if we are talking about like a historical event that took place, and which has been oppressed because of some reason, maybe someone has to be given special consideration that they were not able to express their thoughts before, and now they want to come and express. So I think it's really dependent upon the situation.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Let's do the next one. Thanks to the group that's here, and go back and let's pull up a new group. All right, sir. You want to come on up? You in the green shirt with the glasses. You want to come on up? Yeah. 1, 2. You want to come up? Okay. 1, 2. We cycle through again. 3. Come on up. 4. Cancel culture doesn't exist. Go. That's tentative. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what cancel culture means.
That's a fair thing. Anybody want to try to define it? All right, cool. All right, let's go back to neutral, same crew. All right. Go. Biological males should not compete in women's sports. Go. Anybody, like if you hear a good argument that he makes and you want to move, you can move anywhere you want. So, in fact, it's encouraged for you to move if you hear a good argument. All right, who wants to go?
Definitely. Can I say this here? Definitely.
You can say anything here, son. This is a free speech zone.
Absolutely, that's great. I would say males who switch their gender from male to female, definitely they should not be able to compete in women's sports. They can have the freedom of right to call themselves women, but I don't think they should be able to compete in women's sports.
Okay, so how come you're not there then?
Oh, how come I'm not there? Because, that's actually a really good question as well. For me, the main basis is pretty much just between sports made for women and women's division of sports. That's the idea.
What's an example of a sport made for women?
Knitting.
Well, that's not really a sport. It's not really competition in that sense, so I wouldn't really count that as a sport.
Having a separate category for like people who identify them as like are biological males, but like are very tending towards females.
But that would be like a category of like two people, one person.
Yeah, of course. That's interesting. But that's because we don't want to take away the privilege of competing in a sport. But again, having conformity in categories is important, which would make, because then the women in the sport would be disadvantaged.
Okay, hold on. I want to drill down here. Say what you just said again. Like we want to have conformity to category. Then why is it that nobody complains about biological women transitioning to men who play in men's sports? If conformity to category was important, people would be upset about that. But literally nobody that I've ever heard of has been upset about that. All right, cool. Thanks, everybody. And you guys did twice, right? All right, so just back down again, and let's recycle through the net. 1, 2, you want to come up? Is this the most exciting thing that's happened to you today? Good, right answer. Okay. All right, everybody, come on up. Come on up. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Equality of outcome is more important than equality of opportunity. Go. Or you could stay on the line. You take your time. Take all the time you want, up to 30 seconds. I thought it was funny too as a joke. Nobody laughed.
So I just realized that there is no...
Oh my God, everybody's migrating over. Okay. Easy. What, really? Okay, can we go to him? Why did you move?
I guess I needed a little bit of clarification on what specific outcomes we were talking about.
If you truly want an equality in outcome and not an insincere one, you need to solve the problem, which is giving everybody the opportunity. Or you're forcing people who don't really deserve to be there to be there.
Yeah, that's a fascinating point. Yeah, I like that too. I'm going to clap at that too. Yeah, I think that idea of sincerity in the question is so important, and it's overlooked. It's often overlooked. You know what's really interesting to me about this conversation is that this is the disagree and strongly disagree line. I mean, the conversation has sounded like it's someone from the other universe over there.
No.
I have no idea why.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right, so that concludes, we're a little over, that concludes our evening, but before you leave, it would be absolutely fantastic if you just spend literally 1 or 2 minutes. Nathan's over there. He's going to ask you some quick questions, what you think, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, just be completely honest with him. If you got something out of it, what we should change, super basic questions. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to Sheer and the AHA Foundation, and thank you, Purdue, for hosting us. Thank you.
What did you think about this event?
So I thought it was really, eye-opening to the fact that people have so many different perspectives of even a single question on how they take it and how they process it, pretty much. And the opinions of others was interesting as well, and kind of helped me understand what I was thinking about when I was looking at the questions as well. So I thought it was really insightful. So yeah.
I think this, I got to listen to a lot of perspectives about what people think about the controversial questions, and that was good to hear. It's always good to get different perspectives on questions.
I think it was a great way to learn different opinions. Most of these people here are my friends, and we don't really talk about these issues which are really controversial, and people having so many different opinions on things. So I guess learning that how different people might see different things, how they might interpret different questions in a very different way, was actually very interesting to see.
I think it was a success where people really got to express themselves. They had an opportunity to conduct discourse in a very new way, which was refreshing, which was very observant for other people who were there. They were this is the scale that I'm on. That was brilliant. So it was easy. It was very measurable for other people to talk about what they were talking about. So yeah, it was great.
It was a great opportunity for everyone to listen to each other. Otherwise, I think in the outside world where there's no structure, we'd like shut each other down, and the more like extroverted or aggressive person gets to speak the most. So I liked it a lot.
Cool. Yeah. Did you have any fun?
Yes, a lot of fun. Yeah.
I think that these kids are super engaged. I loved how it was like really kind of casual, but also really, really informative at the same time. A lot of honesty, a lot of transparency came out of it, and a lot of thought-provoking questions came out of it.
It was good, and I felt it was maybe a little long, although I suppose that was because people were debating so much, so it's fine. Yeah.
Cool. First question. Did you have fun tonight?
Yes, I did. It kind of reminded me a little bit about the Spectrum show that Jubilee does on YouTube, which I like that show. Sometimes they have good episodes. It reminded me of. Always wanted to do something like that, so that was fun.
Great. Awesome. What did you think about the event?
Like I said, I loved it. It was good meeting people. It was fun meeting Peter. It was fun meeting some of you guys too, and the rest of your team. It was, yeah.
Were you surprised by anything you heard tonight?
I think one of the things I heard that I was really surprised by is just the questioning of like whether or not, actually no, why I believed why I should stand on a certain line. I think that's one thing I never really thought about. Never really thought what's the difference between disagree, somewhat disagree, extremely disagree. So yeah, it was just really different, I guess. As usually I just take it as an easy question, but yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, because people hold some thoughts that never really struck to me ever before. So it was good too, and it's surprising to hear people have those thoughts.
Not surprised, but I was surprised by the fact that I never realized that the people that I was surrounded with this entire semester had so many different views, and they saw things in a very different light. It's a surprise that we never got to know each other on this level, I guess.
Yeah, they were like how on the scale that people were on, and then like trying to defend, or like, I mean, trying to talk through where they were on. That was really interesting, like, oh, because there was scale that they were on, and like the talk they were having with like how people were getting influenced. That was super interesting.
Yeah, by people who were on the other end of the spectrum than where I was in the like agree disagree scale. I think some things that they said, it was like a perspective that I think about but not too often. So it was like, I mean, I hope you get what I'm saying.
That's great.
I wasn't really surprised by anything I heard. I was surprised by the depth and nuance of some of the answers, especially from college kids.
Yeah. Okay.
Not really. Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely was, but it was all for the good, I think. Exposed me to some new ideas. Someone even got me to change my mind on things. So.
Oh yeah. What did you learn?
Wow. Well, I learned more about some of the people that I work with here, what they think, which is good. Now I can support them better too.
Do you feel like you learned anything from this event?
I think I learned on like to take in the perspectives of others and to actually like critical think, I guess, somewhat. So yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Sure, I did learn a lot about community in general, about what people think and what people believe in and stuff like that. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the difference between strongly disagree and disagree. That how that word strongly can... I mean, that discussion is still not over. We would still talk about it. And it's just a difference of this one word. So it's a very interesting thought that if there's such a huge difference between strongly disagree and disagree, the differences between strongly agree and strongly disagree would have been like crazy, I guess.
I think once you resolve the, if you're wrong, you're not necessarily bad. That's the idea that a lot of people have, that I feel. And once that's taken over, you usually get something really beautiful where people can conduct very social discourse and like learn from each other more. So that was something that I learned today, that if you're wrong, you're not necessarily bad. You can listen and then we can work through it. That's I think what I'm taking away today.
Yeah. I think the way I think about things, it's more like it's not, especially from personal experiences. I'm more focused upon like viewing the general pattern around society. And when people took opinions based on their personal experiences, that was something new I could learn about.
Well, I did. I think the thing I learned the most, well, not really learn, but maybe like reinforced for me, especially since most of the kids here are, Eastern Asian or, Indian immigrants, how I guess plugged in they are on kind of like U.S. domestic politics and cultural issues, and how you could really tell that they were very like invested in understanding these things. It didn't seem passive to them in any way.
A little bit. I learned about specific topics, but I did not learn as such anything about myself and my own personal beliefs. So that's what I would say.
Do you see anything differently now than you did before? If so, what? How has your view changed?
I would have no comment on that one, honestly.
I mean, obviously, some of the things that people say does change your mind about things. So, for example, there was one question about with her and then the other girl. They were discussing things between why equal opportunities matter more, equal outcomes matter more, and that swayed my minds back and forth, because it's still not clear to me, because I could either go there by the argument you're making, and I could either come back because the argument that I made to you. So I'm not clear in that way. But yeah.
I don't think my view has changed. It's like pretty much the same. I still have the same opinions. It's just that I would appreciate more ideas and more opinions and would engage in more discussions like these, because they are quite intellectual and I really enjoy talking about different things.
I think the ideology that I had about like how I got a lot of people to concur with me on the fact that, I mean, if everyone's following something doesn't necessarily mean that it's right out there in the society. So that was something that I felt my opinions were like reverberated with like some of the people who spoke today. So that was interesting. Yep.
I see that. Well, firstly, it's been a while since I've quietly listened to someone else and enjoyed getting attacked and being like the one cornered. So I've really enjoyed that, and I think it's like a reminder of how fun it is to be on that side. So as part of the process rather than the questions and the content, I think that was a good like a refresher.
No, I don't really see anything differently. I think, if anything, I just want to engage in the conversation more.
The debate about outcome and opportunity was kind of insightful. I did not think about a few of the points that they discussed. Other than that, I feel like the one in which I participated in about biological males and females, that was kind of good, because like I did not think about whether like there should be a separate category for people who are biological males rather than females. So that was something I learned, I guess.
One question that had me that changed my mind was the equality of outcome and equality of opportunity question. I initially didn't know what to think, but hearing a few of the people here, hearing some of their ideas, it gave me a better understanding of the question and helped me form my own thoughts.
Awesome. Do you think that you can talk in your classes about this event?
Could I talk in my classes about this event? As someone who's extremely introverted, I don't think so. However, I could talk to some of my classmates about it, but not entirely the entire class.
Yeah.
I think so. At least, I mean, this was a residential community that we did in, but in classes, I mean, there would we get a more wide variety of opinions that are around. So maybe not, but I can surely give it a shot.
Definitely, yeah. I think from this event, it was such an event where now everybody else, I feel bad that they didn't attend the event. It was a really good one.
Oh, this question probably doesn't relate. Wait, are you a student?
No.
No, yeah. So this question doesn't really relate to you.
My classes, most of them are like related to business and management. I don't feel people would value like this sort of thing too much there. Also, like it wouldn't come up, so I don't think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure like if any of the classes I'm taking currently that would be the right form because I'm taking a lot of engineering classes right now. But when I did used to take a lot of English or liberal arts courses, I feel like there's plenty of opportunity to talk about these subjects then.
What did you think about the video?
I thought that the video was. That's a really good question. I thought the video was well executed, and it brought forth a bunch of great ideas. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
The video was interesting. I was not able to understand some of the concepts right there because I don't have prior background knowledge about them, but interesting graphics, interesting opinions on there.
Amazing. I think the video was the best part of the event because I think it perfectly articulates the whole problem of postmodernism, how some people are actually acting as if they know everything, and the others and the ones who try to sway away from their point of view are actually wrong. So there are like so many historians who write a very different account from what is actually accepted by some scholars, and they are sidelined by their community. Like one of my friends, she's studying history. So if she tries to raise a different point of view about history, then she's sort of sidelined from the class. She's not considered a true scholar. So things like that, I don't know why that happens, and that video just clearly articulates the problem. And yeah, that's all. I could like go on, but
Great. Well, thank you so much for that.
It was very interesting. I mean, it really kicked off a conversation about like how woke people have almost like a holier than thou idea of things, but that maybe not really is. It talked about Marxism and like along those lines, and how people have created the fog that we were talking about. I think that was a very good explanation, graphic explanation of like what's happening right now, which I completely concur with. It was quite an amazing video. Yep.
The video was awesome. It was a great, it was pretty relatable, even though they used concepts about like history, and I feel like if you bring the concept that was shown in the video onto a micro scale, it is what happens in our life every day, whether it's about feeling woke or trying to convince someone else about what we think about wokeism, or what we think about concepts in our state of wokeism. So that was just shown on a macro scale in the video.
I thought the video was really, really pretty fun. I think it was a really great, concise way to just kind of lay out some of those issues and kind of frame the conversation ahead of time.
Video, you mean like the one which was shown in the like starting? Yeah, I actually missed that part.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing you walk in. Okay.
I thought it was an interesting video. There was one thing that like really bothered me. It's so silly. It's like just a small thing, but there was a typo in there for whose. So that was the one thing that like. Okay, some of the ideas that were spoken about were was exposed to before, but that was the one thing that kind of stuck out to me. Another thing that I did appreciate was the distinction between Marxism and postmodernism, because Jordan Peterson, he talks about Marxism and postmodernism a lot, and I feel like he has some of those ideas a little bit confused because those are opposing ideas, and the video demonstrated that those are opposing ideas and how they originated historically. Postmodernism is a response to Marxism, so I appreciated that. distinction.
All right, and then last question: how can we improve?
How can we improve? I think this is the best that you could have done, especially in this kind of space. It's extremely small, and Tushar kind of created the event on a whim. Well, not on a whim, but under really short notice, I guess, in that sense. So yeah, so I think you can't do much, honestly. This is perfect.
I think it would be really great if you. So there, in the video, there was, for example, things about Marxism that is purely philosophical. I don't think everyone would know what that is prior to coming to this event. So maybe a little bit of introduction on what Marxism is and why that became a thing would be helpful.
I guess I was pretty much familiar with all the topics that were being talked about in the video, but there were some things that most of the people didn't get, and I don't know why they didn't appreciate the video as much as I did. So I guess sort of dumbing it down to a different level, like words like postmodernism or the names of the different scholars that were in the video. Most of the people here are not familiar with those names, I guess. So just having a dumbed down version for like everyone to understand. Like my friend just raised a point that not everyone knows about Marxism. So, and we can't, it's a huge topic, like you could just go on and on and on about Marxism, but I guess stating in a way where people are not very confused about it.
Talking about the fact that what the event really is, since like we don't know what reverse Q&A would mean, people don't really know the gist of it. In simpler terms, talking about it and then going through the masses, who it appeals to, what we can and can't talk about. People don't really know once you really give them context. I think somehow conveying that context to like different colleges or like people that you talk to would really get people to come in. So that's quite an experience to have. So yeah.
I feel like through advertising, because a lot of people really did miss this event. So if you guys maybe started advertising around Purdue or talking to more clubs in terms of advertising, a lot more people would have had the opportunity to be a part of this, and maybe a lot more opinions would have been here too. A lot of learning could have happened.
Yeah, I think you should put the categories by the audience so you can see those when you're looking down, because I constantly kept going like, well, which side are we on right here?
Oh, yeah. We put them down on tape, but it was a little bit too small.
No, just put some tape on the front and on the back. I think that would be really helpful.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's good to know.
I feel some of the questions were a little bit vague. So like, I understand that they need to be open-ended questions, but like adding some more like specifics to the question and thinking about like where the question is being posed and like in what context would be helpful. Yeah.
Honestly, if it was a little bit longer, so a little bit more time, maybe getting like, a bigger group of people in there. So more than like 4, maybe like 5 or 6, just so you can get some more additional viewpoints that might be different. So more questions.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, that was it. Great. Those are all my questions. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
What word do you say in India to take a picture? Like we say cheese. We don't say
You don't say
We don't say anything.
Really?
I think the culture has transcended. We say cheese too. So.
Okay.
We can say paneer if you want.
Paneer, yeah.
Paneer, sag paneer, that's good.
Oh shit! Peter, you should join us. Honestly,
Okay.
Okay, ready? Cheese. Paneer.
Paneer. Thanks everybody again. All right, we're off.